Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty specific, a single massive event, the second big journey of the great statue of Ramses II.
Yeah, this one's interesting because, well, the sources really push us beyond just ancient history.
Yeah.
We're diving into cutting-edge 21st century engineering, too.
Right.
So our mission, if you like, is to unpack the logistics, obviously,
Right.
but also that kind of deep dual symbolism behind moving, 83 tons of priceless pink granite right across Cairo. It really connects ancient Egypt's grandeur with modern commitment.
And the statue itself, I always think of it as, it's the ultimate symbol of ancient royal power, isn't it? This
Right.
wasn't just decoration.
No, not at all.
It was meant to be a physical statement of divine kingship. Basically, a 3,000-year-old state propaganda carved in rock,
Yeah.
designed to last forever.
And that relocation in 2006, you could almost see it as the modern state's own piece of, maybe counter-propaganda. A statement, definitely. An act of rescue that showed off a modern commitment to preserving heritage.
Yeah.
It really makes you ask, how do you save a piece of history that's literally bigger than a bus?
Okay, let's get into that. To really get the scale of the statue, we probably need to understand the scale of the man behind it. Ramses II, he's arguably the heavyweight champion of the New Kingdom, right? The absolute peak of the 19th dynasty.
Oh, absolutely. When historians talk about a golden age for the New Kingdom, Ramses II is like Exhibit A.
Mm-hmm.
His reign saw incredible wealth, major military campaigns, expansion, and just these enormous building projects, all designed to cement his status not just as king, but, as a god on earth. He ruled for, 66 years?
Yeah, a long time.
And the sheer number of temples, inscriptions, statues, especially colossal statues like this one, it's just unmatched, really.
And this specific statue, it just embodies that ambition perfectly. We're talking 11 meters high, pink granite, about 83 tons. Why pink granite, though? What do the sources say about that choice?
Well, granite, and especially that pink type from Aswan, it symbolized permanence, indestructibility. That was key in ancient Egyptian thinking.
Okay.
Ramesses knew that if he wanted to project immortality, his image needed to be carved into the hardest stuff available. So this statue, it wasn't just remembering him, it physically was his absolute deified power on earth. Anyone seeing it would immediately get the message about his authority.
But its modern story is kind of fragmented, isn't it? It wasn't just found slinging there.
No, far from it. It was found broken. 6 major pieces, apparently, back in 1820. Down in Mitrahina, which was ancient Memphis, an Italian explorer, Giovanni Caviglia, found them.
Wow, 6 pieces.
Yeah, imagine finding bits of something that huge scattered around. It actually took over a century before it was properly conserved and, ready to be shown off.
And its first big public debut, that was 1955.
That's right, 1955. A huge moment. They assembled it and placed it right in central Cairo in Bab el-Hadid Square, a major hub, lots of traffic activity.
Which they then renamed Ramses Square after the statue.
Exactly. It was meant to be this big symbolic thing, the ancient founder watching over the modern capital.
Yeah.
And it definitely put the statue at the heart of things.
But
as the sources make really clear, being at the heart of the city's pulse turned out to be, more like being hammered by it constantly.
which brings us right to the crisis.
Yeah.
So only 50 years after being placed there, the modern environment is basically attacking this ancient symbol of permanence. What kind of damage are we talking about? What made the move so urgent?
It was really a two-pronged attack, chemical and mechanical. The chemical side was the heavy city pollution.
The smog.
Yeah, but specifically the intense concentration of things like hydrocarbons and sulfur compounds from decades of vehicle exhaust, train fumes, you name it.
Nasty stuff.
Very nasty for granite. These acidic pollutants react with the stone's microstructure, causing the surface to decay and creating stress deep inside.
So it was essentially breathing poison for half a century.
Pretty much, yeah. And then you had the mechanical damage, which was just as bad. Ramses Square is right over subway lines, and it's choked with traffic constantly.
The vibrations.
Exactly. The constant physical vibrations, engineers call it. Dynamic load stress from trains rumbling underneath and heavy trucks on the surface. These were constantly creating tiny fractures in the statue's structure, especially around the joins where it had been put back together in 1955.
Oh.
So the move, it really became this urgent rescue mission, save the artifact from falling apart completely, basically.
That's a really important point. It wasn't about making things look nicer or boosting tourism. It was life support for the statue.
Absolutely.
So that takes us to the Great Journey in 2006. This wasn't just moving something heavy. It was this huge, high-stakes engineering show. A modern royal procession, some called it. And the whole world was watching.
August 25th, 2006. Yeah, the sources really stress how much global attention this got, and you can see why. International engineering firms were calling it incredibly complex, almost near impossible.
I bet.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Move an 11-meter, 83-ton granite colossus through one of the world's busiest cities, over bridges, around corners, without letting it wobble or shake significantly.
So how do they manage the weight and keep it stable? You couldn't just stick it on a flatbed truck.
Oh, definitely not. They had to completely eliminate any points of concentrated stress. The solution was this amazing, specialized hydraulic cradle. It distributed the load perfectly, and the cradle itself weighed nearly 120 tons.
Wow, so the cradle weighed more than the statue.
Yeah, the whole package, statue inside this custom cage, was over 200 tons, and this massive weight was spread across a special multi-axle transporter. It even had these sophisticated sensors, real-time monitors checking the load balance and any external vibrations constantly.
So the aim was just total isolation? Keep the granite completely buffered from the road, basically? The planning for the route must have been insane.
Meticulous is the word. The journey took about 10 hours, moving at an incredibly slow crawl, like walking pace or slower.
10 hours?
Yep. To minimize any inertia, any kinetic stress. And before they even moved it, they used ground-penetrating radar along the entire route.
To check what was underneath.
Exactly. Looking for any unstable ground, old tunnels, utility lines, anything that might not cope with 200 tons rolling over it. And of course, every traffic light, every street sign, overhead cables, they all had to be temporarily taken down or lifted way up high to let the 11-meter statue pass underneath.
It's incredible. And it strikes me how this modern engineering challenge actually mirrors the ancient one, doesn't it?
How do you mean?
Well, Ramesses II could only get this thing carved and moved from Aswan down to Memphis in the first place because his engineers also had amazing planning skills and material knowledge. Different tools, obviously, no hydraulics back then, but the same level of problem solving.
That's a fantastic point. Yeah, the modern skill needed to protect this piece of history absolutely mirrors the ancient skill needed to create it. Both feats show a level of sophisticated planning and technical know-how that, frankly, few nations could pull off then or now.
Right.
The transport itself becomes a kind of statement of national capability of pride.
Okay, so let's pivot to what this whole event symbolizes, because it's clearly more than just moving a statue. We've got the history locked into the stone itself, but the journey adds this whole new layer of meaning. The sources talk about two levels of glory, right?
Right. Level one is the statue itself, as we've said. It embodies that ancient glory of the New Kingdom, the absolute peak of Egyptian power and majesty. That's the message from 3,000 years ago, fixed in granite.
And level two is a journey. What does that act of relocation say about Egypt today, about the modern state?
Well, first and foremost, it signals a massive commitment to preservation. Taking the statue out of that polluted, damaging environment in Ramses Square, it showed the modern state recognizes the immense global value of its history.
It's an active defense.
Exactly. An active defense against urban decay, pollution, the slow wear and tear of time. It frames history not as some dusty old burden, but as this precious inheritance that deserves the nation's absolute best efforts, technologically speaking.
The sources use that phrase, moving it from a scar, the damaged city square, to a peak.
Yes, and the peak is its final home, the main atrium in the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is, the world's biggest museum for a single civilization. So placing it there gives the statue the permanent respect, the context, the protection it deserves, right there with the Giza pyramids in the background.
It's a powerful visual.
It really is. And that transition is a national statement. Modern Egypt cherishes, defends, and celebrates its foundational legacy. It's not just letting it crumble.
And the sheer complexity of the move, the engineering, the global media attention, that all acts as this very public demonstration of modern Egypt's strength and ingenuity, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It proves they can handle these huge, complex projects to protect their heritage. It says we are the legitimate, capable custodians of this incredible history.
If you connect all that up, the whole story becomes one of enduring power, really.
Yeah. The statue represents the pharaoh's strength 3,000 years ago. And the journey represents the modern state's strength and determination to keep that legacy safe for, well, hopefully the next 3,000 years.
It is a powerful story, taking history out of the path of, literally, traffic and fumes. And it makes you think, doesn't it, for you listening? Consider the weight, both literal and figurative, of trying to maintain history when you've got rapid modern development, urban pressures. What does it really take for a modern nation to decide that protecting one single 83-ton statue is more important than the immediate demands of a huge growing city?
And it's fascinating, isn't it? And Ramses built his monuments partly, to secure his legacy, his place in the afterlife. The modern state moved his monument partly to secure its own global standing and reputation in the 21st century.
Huh. The motivation shifts, but the scale of the effort.
The monumental effort remains just as impressive.
So let's leave you with this final thought, something building on all this. If that Ramses II statue was definitely royal propaganda 3,000 years ago, what does all that intense global focus, the news crews, the special cradle, the engineering marvels surrounding its move in 2006, tell us about just how powerful historical symbols still are, even in our hyper-modern instant media world?
That's a great question. Something to ponder the next time you encounter something truly ancient. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
Until next time.